Welcome to part 2. We're excited you're here to continue the conversation with us. Let's dive right in and pick up where we left off.
This is something else than just developing it.
Yeah.
So definitely different challenges. I'm looking forward to it, but I cannot deny that I'm also a bit, afraid or nervous.
Yeah, excited. I think
Yeah.
excited is neutral enough to set it. Yeah. But good luck with that. Yeah.
Thank you.
But it's really cool because, as you said, like, okay, you have been in development phase. Basically, you have an MVP. You're setting it up, waiting for this. Let's scale now.
Yeah.
Situation So let's go it 2 ways, because it can go 2 ways. Like, okay, now you can scale. This is one of the challenges ahead in 2025. What do you expect? Let's go this road first. What do you expect? What the challenges are actually going to be, and what are you going to do with the positive feedback that there are enough people interested in your product that you can actually go this road?
So I would say we already know that there are enough people because we have so many inquiries.
Very nice.
So we have, I lost count. I don't know how many inquiries we, like, direct farmers contacting us. So I've lost count how many there are.
In the hundreds?
No.
Thousands? Or I don't know the scale.
Less than 100, but for us this is already a lot. I mean, I don't know, maybe 60, 70. And maybe, I don't know what the conversion rate will be. If of these 60, 70, we will, because they were proactive contacting us.
Proactively contacting
without any marketing. So I guess we have a quite rule with these. We might have a high conversion rate.
Mm-hmm.
With the other customers, the subsequent one might be a bit more challenging. But here, 60, 70 inquiries. But now I lost the question. The challenges for
the challenges you expect if everything goes fine.
If everything goes fine.
Well, fine-ish. Let's say fine-ish. You don't have to. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess feedback from customers. There might be feedback from customers that we don't even know yet. So we still have we know of some things that we have to fix in the front end. The back end is all fine, but in the front end we definitely still have to fix some things. The machine is still working. Everything is working, but sometimes the front end is not as responsive as we want it to be. But besides that, the main challenges is probably
Do you need a bigger team?
Probably we need a bigger team, yes.
So the standard things that happening when you start scaling.
Yeah, we probably need a bigger team.
Yeah.
Our roles might change a little bit, going from development mode to scaling mode. That will be challenging. We already we will move to another office in the next few weeks. This is already planned. We already have one of the business students who worked with us last summer semester. He started working for us now. So the team is already growing, but it might have to grow even further. We hope that the student who is now working for us, the software engineer, he will hopefully be able to work with us full-time soon when he finishes his studies. So team is definitely going to be a challenge. Then we have to talk with more dealers. We want in Germany we are in touch with different dealers, but we also have to get in touch with dealers outside of Germany. So this will become a bit more complex. So I guess in the future the technological challenges will be less. I guess Benedikt and me will move away from the technology side and more into the business side. Hannes will probably stay more on the technology side. So this will change too. Yeah.
Are you looking forward to it, or is it more like I need to do it?
No, I'm looking forward to it. I think, I'm definitely looking forward to it because we now spent almost 1.5 years developing this machine, and now it's really nice to see, it will be very nice to see that our machine will end up in the real world on farms, sorting potatoes on farms, and this is really something I'm looking forward to.
Yeah. Cool.
And
One thing that we see a lot with teams going basically into the successful rate, like, okay, now we can scale it, we can sell our product. That's supporting the product is a strain on the resources. Like, okay, now we have like 40 of our machines out there, and all our customers have issues, problems, things, and we cannot continue anymore because we're kind of stuck. Do you have a strategy laid out for that, or?
I mean, so we have remote access to all of our machines. This is already set up. So on the software side, we can log into all machines and figure out the problems. On the hardware side, you can also have problems. This is something we still have to figure out together with the dealers, how to do that. We want the dealers to be responsible for all hardware related things, and not us, as this would require us to drive around everywhere and have like a service team, which this is not something that we are planning to do. Probably we have to do that in the beginning anyways. But on the software side, I would say if there's a problem with a machine, we will be able to handle this via remote access, and if this is not working, then we have to drive there and fix it. And I think this will probably be the case in the beginning.
Okay, could happen. We'll see about that. Okay, then now, as I said, it's two ways we can go this road. Success, like you can grow, you can scale. Now, I wouldn't be in my position is a bit of throwing some things and people don't like. Like, imagine now something goes wrong with your setting up the machine in the showroom, and you get the feedback that it's not ready yet. What is the worst case scenario you could imagine, like why people won't like it, why people think, hey, maybe we need these kind of features? You actually set up an MVP, you have something that should work. From what direction do you think feedback could come that makes you go back into, okay, we need to improve our MVP?
So performance of the AI model. I mean, potatoes are always different. Maybe the lighting will change slightly, and so the detection rate will be worse. So so we have to retrain our models, but this is possible. So that could be something. I don't think that the farmers would actually want so many new features. I think they want the machine to do potato sorting, and everything else is okay. It has to have, but you should sort potatoes. Then
it's the basic thing. Should be able to support potatoes.
And then if something is not working, feedback from farmers. I mean, the speed of if some farmers will try to play around with the speed of the conveyor belt, they will realize that there's a certain limit that our processor can handle. But we will tell them, we cannot do more than 5 tons per hour. And then if they try to do more, then at one point, the GPU of our computer cannot handle it anymore.
But in this case, do they need more of your products, or is it a different way to improve this kind of thing?
So this is actually a challenge for the future. A technological one. At the current with the current computer and with having one device in the machine, we think that to do quality grading of potatoes, we cannot do more than 5 tons. If we have to, if it should be more, we need to add either a bigger computer or more computers. We don't know how to do that yet. We are looking into that now. Thinking Kubernetes is something that we are thinking about using. We don't know if this is the way to go. Different challenges, but for the moment, the machine that is now being set up with the capacity that we of 5 tons per hectare does what it is supposed to do. And if and this is enough for the target group, that our target group.
Mm.
We don't. Maybe at one point we go into a different market segment, but for the moment the target group probably doesn't really need more than 5 tons per hectare.
Yeah.
We are in a different market segment, and then we have different challenges, different
Sure.
customers, and,
Yeah.
and more things would change than just the machine.
Yeah. This puts me actually in a perfect situation of asking the next question, which is like, where do you see yourself the next 5 years? Yeah. Now you have said you have a target group, you have a sector where you can actually solve a problem. It's a bit connected to the question of what kind of vision do you have? Yeah, for your startup, for the company. So let's make it twofold. First of all, where do you see yourself in like 5 years? And then let's try out to figure out a vision thing, what's coming from your side. And in 5 years, I mean, currently you're targeting specific group of people with a specific problem, like sorting of potatoes. Do you want to go forward in regard of, hey, I love potatoes, let's go further with this thing? Or do you like the challenge itself more? Like, hey, the sorting things to enable farmers, small companies. Which direction do you think as a team now, from perspective now, this can change in a year, I know that, yeah, but from the point of view today?
So we already have, I guess the next step is already clear, but I don't know who will listen to it, so I will not really say it.
Okay.
But maybe I can say something about the second or third step. So yeah, I mean, at one point we will probably think about if it's possible to use our technology for other crops, vegetables. And is it possible to do that with onions, with carrots, or something like that? Then this is something that we are thinking about. So I guess if in 5 years, where do we see? I mean, I would say in 5 years we would still be a software company. We would have. I hope that we will have conquered the market for small and medium-scale potato farms in Europe. So I guess one step is not only in the future is not only to target customers in Germany, but also in other markets. And so we are actually active in different European countries. And then we make enough money to finance our team, to finance ourselves, and have a nice office in Freising, and a successful startup company that farmers actually know that they can rely on. I think this is very important for our beginning, to have a reliable product that they can use, and that we can gather enough testimonials from users that use our product, which is reliable, because we assume that reliability is one of the main aspects that they would want from a machine. So this is something we focus on.
Is a target group in agriculture? It has a bit of a, I want to say it's conservative, but maybe it is. I don't know. How was the approach towards your ideas, your product? Was it hard to convince your target group about the benefits and how to use AI?
So farmers, are they conservative? I mean, farmers are almost always living in the countryside. There might be some of them who are conservative, some of them maybe not. It's a diverse target group, I would say. There are early adopters who are very open to innovation. Is, I would say, very similar to other fields. There are farmers who are a bit reluctant, and then there are the laggards. I guess in this regard they are not that different to other customers,
They're open, they're a diverse group.
Yeah.
This is not a target group per se that's super homogeneous. Yeah, it's heterogeneous. Yeah. Okay, so back to the division thing. What is that you have actually in mind, like with the problem you're solving? You had this a situation where someone did understand the problem and knew the customer base that you can build a solution around it, which is the perfect situation, actually. You have a domain knowledge, you understand the problem, you know that the customer base, you go there. Okay, that's fine. But for a company, usually you're trying to figure out a bit of a vision where you really want to go beyond the actual problems, usually a symptom of something. I imagine, like, okay, we need better productivity and stuff like that in agriculture and small farms, which is a cool thing, but there are other things attached to it. Do you have a vision for your startup, or are you super bound to the problem solution thing?
I think we're very much bound to the problem solution thing.
Yeah.
If there's another problem that we can identify and that we can solve with our solution, we will go at it. Automation is a big thing in agriculture, in different fields. And computer vision generally is very important in agriculture. So there are definitely other use cases for our technology, and that we can apply our technology to. And on our pitch deck, we say that we want to, we actually try to help them with the implementation of SDG number 2, which is the increase of the productivity of small and medium scale farms. So productivity is an important factor. And also, I would say by solving this productivity problem, by freeing up time of farmers, they have more time to think about other problems, and this is probably one of the most important things for them, because farming is a challenging job. It's very time consuming, and it is becoming even more challenging with climate change and different all these different climate patterns, weather patterns coming in because of climate change. And I think the indirect benefit of increasing the productivity or freeing up time is that farmers have more time to think about other problems that they have.
To be honest, I see a vision in that you really want to help farmers to be more productive with your specific use case, which is super amazing. Yeah, and you can relate this to new ones, as I said, like new crops, different approaches, and make it more, to make this actually a sustainable job, to make this something super important, which is super all over the world, is interesting for making people more productive. So I think there is something in there, but you have not have no saying like, this is the vision that we have, this is our mission coming from it, because it's something you find in startups usually.
I mean, I guess if you want to call it a vision, that could be the vision. Yeah, we have every Tuesday we have a blocker in our calendar. We call it Room for Bloom, but we don't always use it because we had in the past few weeks so many other things to do, and we sometimes forget about this. And so the vision part, fell over the cliff, and we focused more on the machine itself than on the long time or medium term vision.
But tell me about the specific event. Room for Bloom is about like figuring out new ways, things, ideas, or what was it planned for? Like, what was it?
It's mostly to get ourselves into the atmosphere to say more yes and than to say no but, and to say, okay, now we have 1 hour or half an hour where we want to think about new ideas, and we want to think about these new ideas in a yes and kind of fashion. And this is sometimes difficult if you do it in a day-to-day job environment. If you have an idea, you talk to someone, no, I have to do something else. Leave me alone. I want to do this now. And for example, mostly about business related things, vision related things. We talked about the possibility of after sales and these things. what could be useful in our case and what not. But then also other ideas, mostly in the field of business, not so much technology. Technology is it's a different format that we use to try to think about other ideas in this field. Yeah, it's just to come up with more ideas.
Yeah. But currently we have a big deadline, something really big happening. Is to focus on that. It's super understandable. Yeah. The question is if you find yourself again, like, okay, we are still aligned as a team, but maybe you're just so clicking with a good way that you don't have to do it. I imagine, but that's up to you to understand or to think about. Something we did not talk yet about, maybe it's not interesting to you, but do you have any investors on board? Or you're planning to have some? What's the situation there?
So we don't have any investors on board. We have received Exist, and then we received Exist phase 2 for AI startups. So we were actually one of 3 startups for the phase that we applied for, and one of 3 startups in Germany that received the second phase funding, which is thank you. That was very nice. And so we put in a bit of our own money, but we don't have any investors. We were looking for investors 1 year ago, but then this possibility with Exist, and just so to say, we always received the feedback that we are not a VC case, a venture capital case, because we have our market is too small, and we are not the next unicorn. So we don't have a huge market. So we are not interesting enough for VCs. This is something that was a feedback that we received.
By VCs or people you talk to from incubator programs and stuff like that? Who was
during pitch events? I don't remember who. Some of them were from VCs, yes, but usually people who are around during pitch events.
Yeah.
But we have people who contacted us who would be interested to invest. So we know that there are investors who are willing to invest in us. We are currently looking into a credit line. I mean, from the Deutsche Rentenbank, the Deutsche Landwirtschaftliche Rentenbank, the German Agricultural Pension Fund Bank in Frankfurt, and they have a specific credit line because mostly startups don't get credits. They don't have any securities. So they have a credit line for startups, and we are looking into that at the moment, if this is possible for us to get. That would be, and if this doesn't work, I'm still optimistic that through sales, we also will be able to finance ourselves. Yeah.
There are investors that are targeting specifically SDG-related startups.
Yeah.
They know that somehow won't be a unicorn, the traditional kind of scale up. Yeah. So there are investors looking for this specific thing that you address.
Yeah.
That there are not a lot. That's true. Yeah. Something to be aware of. But I think you're doing really great. Yeah. And Forschungstransfer 2 is really, really cool to get your thing on the street. Now, when you look at your past self or the journey you have been through, in the past 2 years, let's say, what are your biggest learnings? Something you would say, hey, this was really cool that we did it. This is something we should have avoided. And my today's self would suggest, don't do that. There are different ways of doing it. Are there any things, or are you happy all the way?
I mean, in retrospect, it's easy to say what we should have avoided.
Of course, still, sometimes it's in hindsight.
But didn't we do this?
Yeah, in hindsight.
I mean, I think for me, it's very apparent that the team is extremely important. That the team is in the beginning everything you have, and that you need people who are dedicated. And I think it would be very difficult if Benedikt and Johannes and me would not be dedicated to the project full time, not taking a lot of vacation, really spending time and energy and nerves on this project. I think this is really crucial. I think it's not necessary to know or be able to do everything, but you need to be open to learn new things or to be able to get help or to ask people where you could find someone who could help you. figuring out how to spend time on the project, having being financed at least through Exist. It's not a lot of money you get through Exist. This is 2,500 that you get, and being willing to accept this kind of funding is necessary. If you have investors, I guess you get more money. If you have a venture capital fund, you can get a higher salary. But then I wouldn't have been able to finance myself. I don't live in Munich. I live near Freising, so there it's a bit cheaper. So without my girlfriend, I wouldn't have been able. Oh, my savings too. So I had already some work experience. I have some savings. So without that, I wouldn't have been able to finance myself. That is very important. But then, what should we have done differently? It's we had a lot of technological challenges, but I doubt we didn't have anyone we asked people who are experts in their fields, and even they didn't really know how to handle this, how to tackle this problem. So I don't know how we could have done this differently. We spent many weeks on learning new things, on understanding our problem better. I guess this is part of the
journey.
Part of the journey. It's not something you can exclude. Differently, we also had some conflicts in the team, which this is also, I guess, normal. I don't know if it's normal, but we had conflicts. We were able to solve these conflicts, talk about it, settle them. Yes, so the sensitivity of the people involved when you have these conflicts is important, that you would have them, you have a way on how to solve them. This is important to have. Very much differently, I'm not sure what we should have done completely different.
But it sounds really cool as an answer, because it's something someone needs to separate. Like, okay, things are part of a process. You're figuring out new technology. You're figuring out new solutions. That's innovation for you. Yeah, that's normal. That's part of it. You need to invest. Figuring out solving strategies when something's really going bad. Yeah, this is super important. Something that might help out is, for instance, like what could have accelerated your process.
Money. More money.
More money would have accelerated your process.
Yeah, if we could have. We talked about this. Sorry.
No, go for you. Perfect. The moment when you jump in like that, I think that you
Benedict recently mentioned we could have done this faster if we would have had a bit more money.
Yeah.
That is true, I would say.
How much? A number? Like, what was this more money in that regard? Like building the hardware?
So we had Exist, I think, was 35,000 for 3 people plus money to play around with. I guess another 100,000 would have been very helpful to be able to employ a software engineer, not necessarily on a full-time basis. Part-time would have been sufficient, but then with 100,000 euros, you can do a lot of things. Employing a software engineer part-time would have been very helpful.
So actually for people, not for credits and stuff like that, the AR plus Munich grant, for instance, was a bit of
really helpful. It was very helpful, yeah.
It was extremely helpful. Yeah. Okay, this is something we need to figure out as well.
Very, very helpful. Yeah. Jim, because we played around with different cameras, with different computers, and we needed the money to test out these things.
Okay. Perfect. Prototype funding, you need to figure out what you actually need to develop an MVP.
Yeah. Hardware, I guess, for us, hardware was through AR plus Munich and also through Exist. We had money to finance, to pay for hardware. If we wouldn't have had this money, we would have needed it. So we would have needed, on top of the 100,000, maybe another 50,000. Yeah. Depending on, I don't know, every startup is different, but for us...
you have a hardware component that's always expensive.
Yeah, I guess we spent around 50,000 on hardware. Yeah.
training data or training credits? Was this kind of expensive, or was it not
No,
really?
we don't need a huge GPU to train to fine tune our model. We don't have LLMs that we fine tune.
Sure. Okay. Then, as I said, what could have accelerated your startup? Do you need use some specific software that helps you out to speed up stuff, like to test your software with even AI, Gen AI stuff, or something that could be very basic, something that would not have been possible 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
We use AI for coding. So Cursor, some IDEs like VS Code. We use Cursor.
Yeah.
But also it only helps to a certain extent. At one point, you have to do it still yourself. But software, so we use Cursor. What else? HubSpot is something that we use, but it's not AI related. I don't know. We had actually through the TU Munich, we also had access to the supercomputer. So we were able to train. We started actually training our model with a huge data set and 2 A100 GPUs, which is gigantic, 160 gigabyte RAM. But it was actually not necessary. We figured that out later. And but then more software tools. We use a lot of open source tools. Most of the software we use is open source.
Open source. So it's enough to work through, especially design stuff as well, like front-end development.
You can use Figma. If you don't have a lot of people, you can still use it for free. That was enough. Yeah.
Okay. Very nice. So to set this up, is there any specific piece of advice you would give an early startup, someone who wants to form a team, to want to do something? What do you think is the most important part?
The team is very important. You don't have to be best friends, but you need to be able to work together. And if you are fully dedicated and the others are not, this is the problem. If all of them are not really fully dedicated, it's just an idea, it's okay. But if someone is fully dedicated and the others are not, I guess this will end up in a conflict at one point. You don't need to have all the competencies. You need to have a very good basis, and you need to be able to learn, to pick up new skills. This is something that's very important. Team. For me, the team is you have almost everything. I mean, you don't. Maybe I can also say that because we were able to work in the workshop in Freising of the TU Munich. We had access to all the infrastructure and whatnot, and so we're not really struggling with a very, very fast internet connection or with setting up our server, getting a static IP, whatever, using the supercomputer. So we had that through the TU Munich. We were able to use the 3D printers to 3D print our blueprints. And so we had access to all these facilities, and not only the facilities, also the people working there, the mechanics, the electricians who were supporting us. And so this is why I'm also able to say I forgot that this is necessary, because they were.
It was so normal to have that kind of infrastructure around you.
Yeah, exactly. And we were there almost every day, working with the people. But still, I guess the founding team is very important. Yeah.
Okay. So, are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
I'm ready.
Yes. Potatoes or AI? Which one do you spend more time thinking about?
Potatoes.
What's the most surprising thing you've learned about potatoes?
The variety of its value chain.
What's the weirdest defect a potato can have?
I would say a wireworm.
Imagine you have unlimited resources, time, money-wise. What is the one piece of technology in agriculture that could change everything?
A robot that can do everything that a farmer can do.
You go to productivity hack when things get overwhelming.
For me personally, I go running.
If Karevo could expand to another crop, which one would this be?
Onions.
What's one misconception people have about AI in agriculture?
That it's only about the AI. It's not only about the AI, it's about the entire software architecture.
If you weren't doing this at Karevo, what would you do?
No idea.
One word that describes your co-founders.
Disciplined.
Very nice. Okay, thank you, Felix, for sharing this your incredible journey and this kind of infos. I hope you enjoyed this day, your interview, and yeah, anything you want to spread. People should get in touch with you, looking for farmers out there.
If they want to visit us in the workshop in Freising, it's always worth going there. It's a very nice workshop, nice people. We are there. Yeah. If you want to ask someone, a Berliner, how it is to move to Bavaria, they can also contact from Berlin, move to Bavaria. Come to Freising, visit our workshop, drink a beer with us.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for watching, listening, and enjoying the journey. See you next time. Bye.